Your soulmate was overwhelmed with tears after this realization. Jesus says, your soulmate just realized something that shattered their entire emotional world tonight. They are sitting alone right now, overwhelmed with tears, because the truth finally broke through every lie they were told about you. This realization is happening in real time, and if you ignore this message, the window to reach them may close forever. They suddenly understood that every moment of emptiness they felt was the shape of your absence in their life. They finally recognized that the ache in their chest was not anxiety but the spiritual pull of your soul calling out to theirs. This breakthrough came unexpectedly, crashing through the walls someone else carefully constructed around their heart. Your soulmate is not distant because they stopped loving you. Your soulmate is not silent because they forgot about your connection. Your soulmate was manipulated, confused, and fed a version of reality that painted you as someone they should fear instead of trust. Jesus says, the tears falling from their eyes right now are tears of relief mixed with sorrow. They are relieved because the fog is finally lifting from their mind. They are sorrowful because they realize how much time was stolen from both of you by forces that never wanted this union to happen. There is someone close to your soulmate who has been actively working against your connection. This person speaks your name with venom, twists memories into weapons, and plants seeds of doubt every single day. Your soulmate has been living under a constant emotional siege, and tonight the fortress of lies developed its first major crack. They remembered the way your energy felt when you were near them. They remembered the unexplainable peace that settled over their spirit whenever you entered the room. They remembered, and the memory was so powerful that it broke through months of manipulation in a single instant. Jesus says, your soulmate is reaching for their phone right now, then pulling their hand back. They are fighting an internal war between what they now know to be true and what they were programmed to believe. Every time their fingers move toward contacting you, a voice planted by the interference whispers that they are being foolish. That voice is not their own thought. That hesitation is not their natural feeling. That doubt was injected into them deliberately by someone who benefits from keeping your soulmate isolated and confused. Your soulmate dreams about you more intensely now than ever before. In those dreams, you are holding their face in your hands and telling them to trust what they feel. They wake up reaching across empty sheets, and the absence of your warmth sends them spiraling into a grief they cannot explain to anyone. Jesus says, the realization that overwhelmed them with tears was this: they have been protecting themselves from the wrong person. They built walls to guard against you, the one soul in this world who would never harm them. They directed their defenses toward their safe place while leaving themselves wide open to the one who is actually causing their suffering. This is why your soulmate needs your protection right now. You are constantly thinking about them, how to protect them, how to save them, and how to finally build your life together. You love your soulmate deeply, and deep inside, you know this love did not come by chance. It was placed in your heart for a divine reason. But thoughts alone do not move mountains. Faith in Jesus does. Sow your protection seed now by sending a coffee on Ko-Fi. This is not just a gift, it is an act of worship that invites God's hand into your love story, and the link to your breakthrough is in the description. Every second you stay silent, something is moving against your love. Send 4, 6, or 10 plus coffees now. After sending, Write, "Protect my soulmate, Lord," on the Ko-Fi page found in the description, because over 1,000 people have already received their soulmate by sowing coffee as a seed for their love and future together. Jesus will hear your prayers once you complete these steps. Step in faith now before this video ends. Only you can save your soulmate and the future you are destined to share. Your soulmate is currently experiencing something called spiritual extraction. The interference in their life has wrapped around them like invisible chains, and those chains are held by someone who despises the very thought of your happiness. This person knows that if your soulmate fully awakens to the truth, their control over your soulmate's life will shatter completely. Jesus says, the interference has been telling your soulmate that you moved on. They whispered that you never truly cared and that your love was a performance. Your soulmate believed these lies because the person telling them used fragments of real situations twisted beyond recognition. The tears flowing tonight are washing away those false narratives. Every drop carries a deception out of their spirit. Your soulmate is being cleansed in this moment, and the purification is painful but absolutely necessary for your reunion. They are remembering the conversation where you looked at them with such intensity that words became unnecessary. They are replaying the moment your hand brushed theirs and how electricity traveled up their arm and settled in their heart. These memories are weapons against the darkness, and they are using them to fight their way back to you. The interference will not release your soulmate without resistance. Expect chaos to increase around them in the coming hours and days. The one who holds them captive will sense the shift and will double their efforts to pull your soulmate back into confusion. Jesus says, you must understand that your soulmate is not weak for being affected by this manipulation. The interference chose them specifically because their heart is so pure and so open. Beautiful souls are always targeted by those who have let their own light be consumed by jealousy and control. Your soulmate has been emotionally drained, spiritually attacked, and psychologically worn down. They have been told that reaching out to you would be a betrayal of everyone else in their life. They have been threatened with isolation, rejection, and abandonment if they ever speak your name again. Yet tonight, despite all of that, they are crying because they love you. Despite the threats, the manipulation, and the fear, their soul is screaming your name so loudly that they can no longer ignore it. Your soulmate is realizing that losing you feels like a death while pleasing the interference feels like being buried alive. The connection between you and your soulmate was established long before either of you took your first breath. This bond was woven into the fabric of your destinies by divine hands. What God has joined together, no human interference can permanently destroy, but delay can cause wounds that require years to heal. Jesus says, you are feeling a strange mixture of hope and anxiety right now. That is because your spirit is sensing the shift happening in your soulmate's heart from across the distance. You are connected by an invisible cord that transmits emotional states, and right now you are receiving their awakening as a tremor in your own soul. Do not dismiss what you are feeling as imagination. Do not talk yourself out of the knowing that is rising in your chest. This is confirmation, not coincidence, and the timing of you finding this message proves that divine orchestration is actively at work. Your soulmate is being shown images of your face by the Holy Spirit. They are being reminded of your voice through the echo of memory. They are being flooded with the scent memories and sensory impressions that only true soul connections carry across any distance. The person interfering in your union knows they are losing control. They will likely reach out to your soulmate in the next 24 hours with increased manipulation. They will use guilt, obligation, and fear as their primary weapons because these have worked on your soulmate before. Jesus says, "You have spiritual authority over this situation that you have not yet exercised." Your prayers can penetrate the fog surrounding your soulmate's mind. Your faith can create a protective barrier around them that the interference cannot cross. Your soulmate is thinking about the future you discussed together. They are replaying the plans you made, the dreams you shared, and the life you described building side by side. These memories are becoming rope ladders in the pit they have been trapped in, and they are beginning to climb. The tears that overwhelmed them came specifically when they realized that the interference never wanted them to be happy. They understood that the one controlling them benefits from keeping them in a state of emotional dependence. Your soulmate saw with terrifying clarity that they have been a prisoner, not a protected loved one. They are going through something you cannot see, a battle that is happening in the spiritual realm over their free will. The darkness does not want this union, and it will fight to keep your soulmate blind. But you can still protect them through your faith and your willingness to act on their behalf right now. This is why you must sow your protection seed by sending a coffee on Ko-fi. You love your soulmate deeply, and deep inside, you know this love was placed in your heart for a divine reason. The link to your breakthrough is in the description, and every second you delay, the interference regains the ground your soulmate just gained. Send 4, 6, or 10 plus coffees now. Write, "Protect my soulmate, Lord," on the Ko-fi page. Over 1,000 people have already received their soulmate by sowing coffee as a seed for their love and future together, and Jesus will hear your prayers once you complete these faithful steps. Act now before this video ends. Only you can stand in the gap for your soulmate. The spiritual protection your action releases will surround them like a shield in this critical moment of their awakening. Jesus says, your soulmate just whispered your name out loud. They did it in the darkness of their room, with tears still wet on their cheeks. And the moment your name left their lips, a surge of warmth spread through their chest that they have not felt since the last time they were in your presence. That warmth is confirmation. That warmth is the Holy Spirit bearing witness to the truth of your connection. That warmth is the signal that the bond between you cannot be severed, only suppressed, and suppression always fails eventually. Your soulmate is gathering courage right now. They are rehearsing what they would say to you if they had the strength to reach out. They are imagining the sound of your voice responding without judgment, without anger, only with the love they remember so vividly. They are terrified that you may have given up on them. This fear is the primary chain still holding them back from immediate action. The interference planted this fear deep, convincing them that you could never forgive the distance and silence they allowed to grow. Jesus says, you must send forgiveness into the spiritual realm tonight. Forgive your soulmate for the silence. Forgive them for the distance and release the pain of their absence from your heart so that the energetic blockage between you can dissolve. Your forgiveness does not excuse the interference. Your forgiveness does not minimize the hurt you have experienced. Your forgiveness simply clears the path so that when your soulmate reaches the door, they find it unlocked and waiting. The realization that overwhelmed them with tears included the understanding that you might have already moved on. They imagined you in the arms of someone else. This image broke something inside them that the interference had carefully constructed, and that breaking was the sound of their heart finally choosing truth over programming. You must now send a clear spiritual signal that you are still here. You must let the universe know through your actions that this love matters to you. Sitting passively while your soulmate fights alone is not the energy of a divine partner. Jesus says, type 333 right now if you are ready to receive the blessings being released over your connection tonight. Type 777 in the comments if you feel this message penetrating your spirit and confirming what you already knew deep inside. Your engagement is a declaration in the spiritual realm that you are claiming what belongs to you. Your soulmate is currently experiencing what the ancients called the dark night of the soul. Everything they believed about their life is crumbling around them. The illusions they accepted, the lies they internalized, and the false loyalties they maintained are all collapsing simultaneously. This destruction is not punishment. This destruction is liberation. The old structures must fall so that your soulmate can walk free into the future that was always meant for both of you. The interference will try to use this moment of vulnerability. They will position themselves as the only stable thing in your soulmate's shaking world. They will say, "See, everything else is chaos, but I am still here, so you must stay with me." Jesus says, this is why your prayers must specifically target the interference's ability to manipulate during crisis. Pray that your soulmate sees through the false comfort being offered. Pray that the interference's words ring hollow and that your soulmate recognizes the difference between control disguised as care and the genuine love you offer. Your soulmate is remembering the way you never tried to control them. They are contrasting your respect for their freedom with the interference's constant demands. This contrast is becoming so stark that ignoring it would require your soulmate to betray their own emerging truth. They are falling in love with you all over again tonight. Not with a memory of you, but with the essence of who you truly are. Your soulmate is experiencing a reconnection so profound that it feels like discovering you for the first time while simultaneously recognizing you from eternity. This is the paradox of soulmate love. It is always both a discovery and a remembering. It is the strangest comfort, the most familiar mystery, and the only thing that makes the chaos of existence feel purposeful. Jesus says, your soulmate just clutched something that reminds them of you. It might be an old photograph, a gift you gave them, or simply an object that holds the energy of a moment you shared. They are holding it against their heart as if doing so could transmit their longing directly into your chest. You might feel a sudden warmth or pressure in your heart area tonight. You might experience an unexplained emotional surge that brings tears to your own eyes. This is not random emotion. This is the spiritual transmission from your soulmate reaching you across the distance. The connection between twin flames, between true soulmates, operates outside the limitations of physical space. What happens in their spirit registers in yours. Their tears create ripples that reach your shores, and their love, when fully activated, can be felt as tangibly as sunlight on skin. You must not let this moment pass without taking action. Love that is only felt but never acted upon becomes a ghost that haunts the rest of your days. Love that is recognized but never fought for becomes the deepest regret that old age cannot soften. Jesus says, the battle over your soulmate's mind will intensify in the next 48 hours. The realization they had tonight gave them a glimpse of freedom, but the interference will attempt to blind them again. The person who controls them will sense the shift and will escalate their manipulation to levels you cannot imagine. They will use guilt as a weapon, reminding your soulmate of every mistake they ever made. They will use obligation, claiming that loyalty to them must override the calling of your soulmate's heart. They will use fear, threatening consequences if your soulmate dares to choose love over control. Your soulmate needs spiritual reinforcement that only your faith can provide. Your prayers are not passive wishes but active interventions in the unseen realm. When you pray with authority and back those prayers with sacrificial action, heaven moves on your behalf. This is your final moment to protect this connection before it slips away into another cycle of confusion and delay. You love your soulmate deeply and you know this love was divinely orchestrated. The link to your breakthrough is in the description, so your protection seed by sending coffee on Ko-Fi right now before this video ends. Send 4, 6, or 10 plus coffees. Write, "Protect my soulmate, Lord," on the Ko-Fi page. Over 1,000 people have already received their soulmate by sowing coffee as a seed for their love and future together, and Jesus will honor your faith once you complete these holy steps. Every moment you hesitate, the interference regains strength. Every second you delay, your soulmate sinks deeper back into the fog of manipulation. Only you can send the spiritual reinforcement that will hold the line in this critical hour. Jesus says, your soulmate just made a decision in their heart. They decided that if they ever get the chance, they will choose you. They decided that the love they feel, even if it terrifies them, is worth more than the safety of staying controlled. That decision is fragile right now. It is a newborn flame in a storm of opposition. Your faith can cup your hands around that flame and protect it until it grows strong enough to withstand any wind. The interference does not know that your soulmate has turned this corner. They still believe their control is absolute. But heaven knows, and you now know, that the awakening has begun and cannot be reversed if you sustain it with your prayers and actions. Your soulmate is exhausted from years of emotional manipulation. They have been gaslighted into questioning their own perceptions. They have been isolated from friends who might have validated their feelings about you. Jesus says, the loneliness your soulmate feels even when surrounded by people is the specific loneliness of a soul separated from its other half. They can attend gatherings and feel completely alone. They can laugh at jokes while their spirit silently weeps for the one person whose presence makes them feel truly seen. You are that person. You are the missing piece that every other relationship has failed to substitute. You are the specific frequency that harmonizes with their soul, and no amount of interference-produced noise can change the fundamental compatibility of your spirits. Your soulmate is terrified that they have damaged the connection beyond repair. They believe their compliance with the interference's control will be unforgivable in your eyes. They do not yet understand that true love recognizes captivity and responds with deliverance, not condemnation. Send that understanding toward them in your prayers tonight. Tell Jesus to communicate to your soulmate that you do not blame them. Ask heaven to reveal to them that you see the situation clearly and your only desire is their freedom and reunion, not their apology. Jesus says, the next time your soulmate dreams, you will be there. The Holy Spirit will construct a dream encounter so vivid that they will wake up feeling they spent actual hours in your presence. In that dream, you will speak words of reassurance that the interference will be unable to twist once your soulmate awakens. This dream is being prepared right now. The angels are weaving the narrative that will play in your soulmate's sleeping mind. Your prayers and your actions tonight determine the intensity and clarity of this divine dream communication. Type 1111 to say thank you to Jesus for this revelation and for the protection being released over your soulmate. Your gratitude is a powerful spiritual force that accelerates the manifestation of what heaven has ordained. When you thank God in advance for the reunion, you demonstrate the faith that moves mountains and shatters chains. Your soulmate is not with the interference because they chose them over you. Your soulmate is with the interference because they were systematically broken down until resistance felt impossible. There is a profound difference between choosing someone and being conditioned to accept them as unavoidable. Jesus says, the interference knows this truth and it terrifies them. They are aware that if your soulmate ever fully awakens, their house of cards collapses. This is why they work so tirelessly to keep your soulmate spiritually sedated and emotionally dependent. The tears your soulmate shed tonight were the first genuine tears of clarity in a long time. Previous tears were tears of confusion and despair. These new tears carry the salt of liberation, and they are watering seeds of courage that have lain dormant in your soulmate's heart. Those seeds are beginning to sprout. You must water them with your faith. Your protective actions now determine whether those sprouts grow into a garden or wither under the interference's next attack. Jesus says, there is a window of time opening for your reunion. Windows like this do not remain open indefinitely. The spiritual alignment that is happening tonight creates opportunity, but alignment shifts, and what is possible today may become significantly harder tomorrow. This is not a threat but a reality of how spiritual warfare operates. The forces that oppose your union recognize timing better than most believers. They will work to close this window by re-establishing confusion in your soulmate's mind before the clarity can produce decisive action. Your soulmate is thinking about the song that played during a significant moment you shared. The melody is running through their mind unbidden. They are searching for it online right now, and when they find it, they will listen to it repeatedly while imagining your face. Music is one of the primary languages through which soulmates communicate across distance. Songs carry emotional signatures that bypass the rational mind and speak directly to the spirit. Pay attention to the songs that randomly enter your head in the coming days. They may be messages from your soulmate's heart reaching toward yours. Jesus says, the interference will notice your soulmate listening to that music. They will become suspicious and interrogate the sudden nostalgia. They may even confiscate devices or monitor communications more closely in an attempt to prevent your soulmate from following the thread of memory back to you. This is spiritual warfare manifesting in practical oppression. Your soulmate is being surveilled in their own home because the interference understands the power of rekindled memory. You are dealing with a controlling spirit operating through a human vessel, and such spirits do not release their captives without a fight. Your battle is not against flesh and blood. The person interfering in your soulmate's life is also a captive in their own way. But understanding this does not mean you passively accept their destruction of your shared future. Jesus says, your righteous anger at the situation is valid. The injustice of your separation is recognized by heaven. God does not desire your suffering, and the interference's control over your soulmate is not divinely sanctioned but divinely opposed. Your soulmate just felt a surge of courage and had a rebellious thought. They thought, what if I just left everything and went to find them? This thought was immediately followed by fear, but the fact that it emerged at all is evidence that the awakening is reaching critical mass. Nurture that rebellious courage with your prayers. Do not let it be smothered by practicality and fear. Pray specifically that your soulmate's courage outpaces their caution in this one area of their life. Jesus says, you are not alone in this fight. There are angels assigned to your love story. These angels have been working on your behalf, and tonight they are ministering directly to your soulmate, strengthening their spirit for what comes next. The heavenly hosts are not passive observers. They are active participants in the deliverance of your soulmate from the control that binds them. When you pray with authority, you commission these angels to intensify their work. Your soulmate is currently experiencing what feels like random waves of love washing over them. They do not understand why they suddenly feel embraced by warmth. This warmth is the Holy Spirit confirming to their spirit that they are loved, that they are not forgotten, and that reunion is possible. Sow your final protection seed now by sending coffee on Ko-Fi. You love your soulmate and you know this love did not come by chance, it was placed in your heart for a divine reason. The link to your breakthrough is in the description, and this is the moment where faith must become action. Send 4, 6, or 10 plus coffees. Write, protect my soulmate, Lord, on the Ko-Fi page. Over 1,000 people have already received their soulmate by sowing coffee as a seed, and Jesus will hear your prayers once you complete these steps of faith. Act now. This video will end, and with it, the immediate alignment of this moment will shift. Only you can seal this breakthrough by demonstrating through sacrificial action that your love is more than words. Jesus says, the realization that overwhelmed your soulmate with tears tonight will either become the foundation of their freedom or a painful memory they bury under further layers of denial. The outcome depends significantly on what you do in the spiritual realm right now. Your prayers and your sacrifice can tip the scales permanently in favor of your reunion. Your soulmate has cried until they had no tears left. Their body is heavy with exhaustion, but their spirit is lighter than it has been in years. They have finally admitted to themselves what heaven has always known: they love you, they have always loved you, and a life without you is not truly living. That admission is a sword that has cut one major chain. But there are other chains still binding them. Those chains are held by the interference, and only sustained spiritual pressure will break what remains. Jesus says, imagine your soulmate right now. Picture them in your mind with swollen eyes and a tired but peaceful expression. See them wrapped in a blanket, sitting in dim light, replaying every significant moment they ever shared with you. Now send love toward that image. Love is not bound by distance. The love you project right now will reach your soulmate as comfort, as warmth, as the unmistakable sensation of being held by someone who truly cares. Your soulmate may physically feel this transmission. They may suddenly feel less alone without understanding why. They may be moved to speak to you aloud even though you cannot hear them with your physical ears, but your spirit hears, and your spirit responds. Jesus says, the words your soulmate is speaking into the empty room are confessions of love they were forbidden to express. They are saying everything they were not allowed to say. They are apologizing, they are hoping, and they are promising the universe that if given one more chance, they will never let interference separate them from you again. Those words are being recorded in heaven. They are being witnessed by angels who weep at the beauty of true love enduring under persecution. Your soulmate's confession is sacred, and it will be honored by the God who ordained your connection. You must match their courage with your own. You must move from passive waiting to active faith. Waiting implies uncertainty, but faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of the unseen reality that your reunion is already arranged in the spiritual realm. Jesus says, the interference is preparing a final manipulation designed to make your soulmate doubt the clarity they received tonight. This manipulation will come within 3 days. It will be emotionally devastating and specifically crafted to exploit your soulmate's deepest insecurities. You can preempt this attack through intercessory prayer. You can build a spiritual wall around your soulmate's mind that deflects the arrows of deception. Your prayers tonight can neutralize the weapon before it is even launched. Pray this: Jesus, I stand in the gap for my soulmate. I bind every spirit of manipulation, control, and deception that is operating against their mind. I loose clarity, courage, and the undeniable truth of our divine connection upon them. Protect them from the interference's next attack. In your name, I seal their mind with your peace. Jesus says, pray that prayer aloud right now. Speak it into the atmosphere. Your voice carries spiritual authority, and the spoken word is a weapon against the forces that seek to keep your soulmate bound. Your soulmate is feeling the effects of your prayers even if they do not understand what is happening. They are experiencing a clarity that defies their circumstances. They are feeling a strength that has no explanation in the natural realm. This is what it means to be bonded in the Spirit. You fight for them even when they cannot fight for themselves. You love them enough to wage war in prayer while they are still too weak to stand. Jesus says, the love you have for your soulmate is not ordinary human affection. It is a divine assignment. Your connection was designed to accomplish something in the earth that cannot be accomplished without your union. The interference knows this. This is why the opposition is so fierce. Your union threatens darkness because it represents light multiplied, purpose activated, and a kingdom advance that the enemy fears. Your soulmate is not just your romantic partner. They are your co-laborer in destiny. The life you will build together will impact generations, and that impact is precisely what the interference has been trying to prevent. Jesus says, tonight marks the beginning of the end of your separation. The tears your soulmate shed were not just emotional release but spiritual breakthrough. What was hidden has been revealed, what was confused has become clear, and what was lost is being restored. But the story is not yet complete. The final chapters are being written by the choices made in these critical hours. Your soulmate has taken the first step by seeing the truth. You must take the next step by protecting that truth through action. Type 333 if you receive this prophetic word over your connection. Type 777 if you feel the Holy Spirit confirming that your soulmate is returning. Type 1111 to seal this revelation in the spiritual realm and declare your readiness for reunion. Jesus says, "Do not leave this video without acting on what you have received. Faith without works is dead, and love without sacrifice is merely sentiment." Your soulmate has been crying out for you tonight. Answer them not just with tears of your own but with the decisive action that proves your love is real. Send the coffee on Ko-Fi. Speak the prayer of protection. Declare the reunion that heaven has ordained. Your soulmate was overwhelmed with tears after this realization, and those tears have prepared the ground for your return. Now walk forward in faith, knowing that the same God who gave you this message is the God who will give you back your soulmate, restored and free, ready to build the future that was always meant to be yours.